Both the characters, LUGH and this brute berserker, were like playing Call of Duty this week, and they're 25 kills and then dropping nukes. It's just, LUGH's nuke just so happened to be a bit bigger and a bit more powerful, but goddamn, like, they really polished this episode, which is no surprise. Typically, when you have a battle of this magnitude, if the production is running behind or they're not able to polish things up, but generally the grunt soldiers will get the shittier end of the stick in terms of animation, and that's why we saw basically the horse animation on all those soldiers, because when you have something as explosive as this, that's where the polish, that's where the money needs to go, and they delivered a very satisfying finale. As far as I know, they only adapted one novel. They finished one novel for this 12-episode season by fleshing things out, fixing things that I've heard a lot of people say that in terms of just the first volume, the anime is actually better than it because they further flesh out those finer details and just make things feel a lot more organic, which you rarely see source readers actually compliment. But I've seen far more people praise the anime in terms of how they've rearranged and just really fleshed things out. And that has me very excited to hopefully see a season 2 now that the hero has been revealed. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation, and I think Dia and a lot of the characters surrounding LUGH have had a lot of like targets painted. What if they're the hero? And even though I wasn't like convinced, I also wasn't opposed to the idea because you could see the path of thought on why people think that. But with the reveal in this episode with the father saying the hero's been revealed, it's only a matter of time until the demon lord's summoned, and we get introduced to who is apparently the hero, I mean, it raises questions, but I mean, you can't really speculate past it. Just, I'm glad we have a face. I'm glad they didn't blue balls us and not reveal it, so people for, a year or two are speculating, is Dia the hero, this or that. I'm glad they gave a face to the name there. But it was interesting because they kicked the episode off with the goddess kind of like observing all of the failures, to then seeing her observe later in the episode, almost proud with that smirk, like maybe she finally has the person that's going to succeed in the mission that she finally sent off. And I mean, she's been doing this shit for 1,000 times, if not more. So this shit has been taking a while, but it seems like she's finally reached a hero killer that she is proud of, and it'll be interesting to see what LUGH would do in terms of interacting, because if the hero had ended up as Dia, he guaranteed would go with the mission of finding a way of not killing and saving the world. But now that we know it's a different character, it'll be interesting to see what type of connection they'll have throughout the journey. But the meat and the potatoes of this episode was the assassination. It's crazy to think that the fan service, when we had like that beach episode where they're like sailing and you saw that island, all the moments throughout this show, from the creation of spells to the idea of just testing all these different things, that montage they did kind of rewinding throughout this season, the fact that this was all building up to an assassination move, that this would be the hero killer move, that he would literally use an orbital strike, something that didn't work in his original world, but now with the ability of using the wind resistance and the shielding and the, anti-gravity, all these different things that we've come to expect, combining that together, you get the literally biggest nuclear bomb blast. And I think that's impressive because when this man first is introduced, it looks like he has the nuclear bomb that he's throwing towards us. And they just barely managed to survive that. But it's interesting because you could definitely tell that this was the type of character who just loved to fight. It wasn't like he had no emotion. It wasn't like he had no opinion. So despite his kind of like cluelessness of like stalling for time because it took like 200 seconds or something since like they got to that point, and they're discussing what would happen, moving the soldiers out there. Oh, what would happen if I kill you? How do I know that they'll honor that? It's one of those things that you could easily, in hindsight, argue this man should have seen something coming, but he's never bled. He literally said that. He's never tasted his own blood. So a man who could do that, for him, he doesn't give a shit. He just wants to fight someone who can clearly put up a fight, believes full-heartedly that he'll kill LUGH, no questions asked, but honestly he's probably thinking to himself, I'm never going to meet a man that I'm about to kill who can put up this much entertaining situations before my eyes, so I'm going to humor him. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he also wasn't a complete idiot surrounding that situation, given how this man is finally getting a challenge. It kind of reminds me of like those gods in stories who are just bored and do things just because they're bored. And I very much was questioning if maybe the goddess in the show was in a similar boat, and I still don't know for sure. But it's interesting because this man can literally one-shot seemingly anyone, and eventually that's gotta grow stale. So to have someone put up a fight and for him to really just find it amusing, the stalling makes sense while also being kind of like, haha, I fooled you sort of a thing, and I really enjoyed that. and the coin toss to finish it all off as you just see this annihilation. They really did a good job with the explosiveness of this episode. The initial explosive of like his spear, which was kind of foreshadowed 2 or 3 episodes back somewhere along that nature when the 3 of them were in the cart and they were kind of discussing about this holy relic that was found, to then seeing LUGH's kind of orbital strike. It was just very, very well done in my opinion, and I really enjoyed that. And the way that they're able to ultimately save Dia. First, we're going to fake her death, but given the soldiers are cheated, they can't really do that. And since she already looks like LUGH's mother, well, at that point, we can just say that it's a sister. And we already know in this world, like, that ain't going to stop romance, that incest and all that type of stuff in this world isn't as frowned upon, so it's not really going to stop the romance that is clearly brewing between them. Even though they're technically cousins, now they're being presented as, like, you know, siblings and things like that. But I thought the kiss was a nice touch, because really when you compare the very first episode to even like halfway through this story, LUGH very much wasn't someone who wanted a love life or wanted connections, but the fact that he took on this job, the fact that he actually is continuing to honor that promise that they made, it's just, you really see a lot of character growth for his character. And it's interesting to see now that the hero's been revealed, right? We have everyone safe and sound. Where do we go from here? Now that, you know, they're teasing that the Demon Lord could pop up, is LUGH gonna immediately not like the hero? Is LUGH gonna immediately love the hero? It's an interesting concept, but it'll be interesting because very much all the signs were kind of pointing to, like, someone being able to have this berserker class and not go insane. This is literally the skills of in the making of a hero, despite maybe not physically looking like a hero at first glance. At the same time, the way the skills are operating, I was willing to believe that LUGH was right, that could very well be the hero. I just was expecting something a little different to happen, like, you know, he would be the hero and it would be revealed that he could stop it with one hand or something. And then to see the actual reveal, it was kind of just like a very well-directed episode. I wouldn't argue anything about this season was slow or boring or it didn't really do anything. They're constantly like propelling character moments forward with these slice-of-life scenes to then also having these big action spectacles. And it'll be interesting to see where season 2 will go from here, because I'm pretty sure we'll get a season 2 at this point with how much anime is being made. Isekai sell, like, literally, you could have stale donuts on the counter and they're still gonna sell, right? If someone's hungry enough, they're gonna eat it. And luckily for us, we have something that's good, it's quality, it's popular, and ultimately, even the least popular things are getting season 2s these days. So it's just going to be a matter of time, and hopefully they'll continue to put in the same amount of care as they did with the first light novel as they will with the second light novel, because this shit definitely showed in quality. But of course, as always, I'll pass the torch over to you. What did you think of this season? Like, favorite moment? What did you think of the adaptation if you did read the light novel? Because I've heard a lot of praise. I mean, not everyone's going to agree, though always going to be different people who say, no, I prefer the source. But I've heard way more praise over the weeks of saying, I'm actually way happier with how the anime handled this moment compared to the source. And that really shows that, you know, sometimes taking it slow, where some people might argue, oh no, you know, 2 light novels for a core might be best. But this just didn't feel slow to me. And I don't really remember people complaining about things feeling slow either, so I'd really love to know people's overall thoughts on this season, because I think a lot happened while also knowing where to take it slow and really getting to know the characters, which made everyone feel like a person rather than just an object. But let me know your feelings though down below. How excited are you for season 2 when we eventually get it someday in the future? Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.